So this is one of the weirdest things in the entire Jurassic Park franchise. So look guys, the opening of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom has been praised by people that even hate the movie in general. Like, a lot of people go out of their way to say like the whole T-Rex chase and the Mosasaurus jumping up and killing the guy in the helicopter is really fun, it's filmed really well, and it's something that they wish they saw more of as the movie progressed. But there's always been this massive critique that they changed the location of the lagoon on the island to be at the very bottom of Isla Nublar just so they could have the Mosasaurus escape and do this wild chase. So basically it was cool factor over actual coherent writing. And that's interesting because there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about today that I'm sure some of you have probably never heard about before, and I don't know, I thought it was super interesting. So you might have heard that the filmmakers intentionally changed the location of the lagoon in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom via lazy writing. And what do I mean by that? Well, the critique is that they changed where the lagoon is on Isla Nublar so that the Mosasaurus could be released into the open ocean and not have had to deal with the fact that this lagoon was clearly landlocked in the previous movie. But the details surrounding this whole thing are way more complicated than I had previously thought. And weirdly enough, we have to start before Jurassic World because this includes a lot of deep trivia about the production of Jurassic Park 4 before Colin Trevorrow stepped in to direct the movie. And yes, there is a fan theory kind of way that someone could use as an argument if they wanted to, but I just want to present the facts and evidence before I go into any of that stuff. In the film, they show you a map that has the lagoon placed at the bottom of Isla Nublar, and the idea is basically that the Mosasaurus escaped because the location it was in was already super close to the ocean. But if you pay close attention to some scenes in the movie, you can see the original lagoon location from the last Jurassic World on a map in this exact same film. And this isn't just one particular scene in the movie that shows that original map of Isla Nublar. So I reached out to my friend Jack Ewens, who worked on the Jurassic World trilogy behind the scenes with the viral marketing campaigns, and he also worked on a lot of the extended lore for these movies. And I remember having a lot of conversations with him back in the day when Fallen Kingdom came out, all about this lagoon change and how it was a big problem with the newer movie. And look, he's found like 4 separate parts of the movie that showcase the original map and original lagoon placement from 2015's Jurassic World. And this one has the original location for the lagoon landlocked in the center of the island. You can see it on the BBC News part for the opening of Fallen Kingdom. You also see it in the DPG office at the beginning of the movie. You see it inside of the destroyed monorail when they first go to the island, and you even see it briefly when the guy is running from the T-Rex at the very beginning of the film. Now, Jack tried pretty hard to get them to change this in post, and he even mounted a little campaign to do something different on the Blu-ray release for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, but unfortunately, none of that wound up happening. With all of that being said, what did happen? How did this oversight get so wild? I mean, we've got 4 different parts of the movie that show the landlocked Mosasaurus lagoon on a map, and the writers wrote the film to have the gigantic beast escape into the open ocean. So where does the new map and new lagoon placement in Fallen Kingdom come from? Why is it so different to the one we saw literally just one movie earlier in Jurassic World? Or let alone the same maps that we are seeing in Fallen Kingdom itself? Like, how do they expect anyone to believe that the lagoon is now like magically transported miles away from the center of Nublar? Well, look guys, the answer to those questions is actually kind of crazy, but I will say that even I was a little surprised that there was some kind of explanation at all as to what was going on here. So in the scene where they get inside of the bunker, you can see the digital map of the island clearly shows that the lagoon is at the bottom of Isla Nublar. And it looks like they've just done this to hand wave the whole incident off, like, look, here, we changed the map, screw you, we're gonna make this scene. But that map and lagoon location, get this guys, they actually predate 2015's Jurassic World. This lagoon location being at the bottom of the island is actually a leftover from the original Jurassic Park 4 script that J.A. Bayona almost directed in the early 2010s. Before Colin Trevorrow came in to rewrite the script into Jurassic World, this is what the map on Isla Nublar originally looked like with the lagoon. And now that J.A. Bayona is back to direct Jurassic Park 5, well, you can see the connective tissue there on a movie trivia level as to why they got this stuff wrong. But why would this map pop up at all if it's wrong? Why is there a map of the lagoon at the bottom of the island here, and then there's a bunch of different places where it's not like that at all and is instead still coherent with what we saw in the last movie? Like, in the context of the film universe itself, that scene with Claire, the BBC footage, the actual opening of Fallen Kingdom itself, like, it's incontrovertibly showing that in the last movie, in Jurassic World, the lagoon was still canonically landlocked even within this new movie. Fallen Kingdom is saying that itself. Like, the film has so much evidence of the lagoon being in the middle of the island without even having to see Jurassic World, that as far as Owen and Claire and you and I and everyone else is concerned, yes, it was in the middle of Isla Nublar, and now it looks like this map is showing us that it's not. And the lagoon repositioning is like some kind of real world event that happened in the film continuity or something, or is it something else? Like, what is this, like, how do you make any of this make sense? Well, look, guys, truthfully, this whole thing is a problem because, and I'm gonna be real with you, they didn't really care to fix this issue and get it resolved for the audience. Jack tried to do it. He mounted a little campaign to fix it on the Blu-ray, but that did not happen. Now that I've said all of that, hold on to your butts, because there is one other thing I think we need to talk about. So check out this piece of concept art for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Here you can see that the Mosasaurus lagoon actually does not connect to the ocean, and that instead they're showing that it leads out to some massive area that continues on throughout the rest of the island. The monorail has been destroyed, which we do factually see in the finished movie, and that giant gate, which honestly I can't find any evidence of existing in the first Jurassic World at all, that giant gate is actually just protecting the lagoon from pouring out into this flooded area that goes into the park. Now, flooding on the island isn't really that far-fetched because the volcanic activity of Isla Nublar becomes a big focus of the first half of the film's plot. So yeah, it makes sense that a lot of stuff would get messed up and that there may even have been some changes from the volcanic activity that screwed up this section and led to the flooding. But in the final release, we don't really get a good look at where the Mosasaurus lagoon actually is in relation to the open ocean. So look, you could make an argument that the giant gate is just there to block off flooding from this lagoon. And maybe if the thing ever got out, it could be a way to put it back inside or something. But I don't want to speculate on that too long because none of that is laid out clearly in the movie, let alone by the filmmakers in anything outside of this concept art. In universe, is it true that there's a lot of the old maps in the last film that still make the old lagoon location canon even in Fallen Kingdom itself? Yeah, absolutely. So what does that mean for the film's canon and events? Is the lagoon shift in Fallen Kingdom actually so problematic that it makes everything feel like it's in an alternate universe to the first Jurassic World movie? Or is the fan theory about it just being a flooded area that had the Mosasaurus escape through a river that went out into the open ocean, is that actually true? Like, is that actually what happened? And I know there may be some screaming from people that hate this movie with a passion, but like, I thought this was a pretty interesting piece of deep trivia, actually multiple pieces of trivia really. And look, the movie is coherent with the maps of the first Jurassic World film, all except for that one digital one we see in this scene. And there is concept art that backs up the idea of the Mosasaurus escaping through this flooded area, alongside a very technical overview of the park where we don't really see this little area where the giant gate could technically be. I think you can hear the tonality of my voice, like how this is a stretch, but if you wanna go for some kind of stretch like that, you could make a theory as to how it all works out. But the real reason I wanted to bring this up is just because of how crazy all of this stuff surrounding it is. In the end, this is a continuity question that a dude could just show up in the future with and explain in literally one sentence. And I'll give you an example right off the top of my head. I'm a guy working like with the Jurassic World thing. I'm an actor. Hey, remember the first week after the park was evacuated and we had to build that giant gate to stop the flooding from that crazy volcano stuff? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, when we booted up the old engine bunker corner and they had that map with the lagoon in the corner that Jerry messed up. Man, I'm so glad they fired Jerry. I'm not even kidding. If they put that kind of explanation into a newer movie, I would literally laugh. I also want to say that at one point in time, they were trying to release Jurassic World Survivor. I've got a whole video on that, and that tie-in game had loads of people on the island doing all kinds of things right after the park fell. So the construction of this emergency gate or whatever being linked to that would have worked too, in theory. I mean, I know Fallen Kingdom is one of the most polarizing entries in this series, and I get it, guys, but to be honest with you, if they just ran with the fan theory I mentioned earlier and maybe another line of dialogue, I think that could make for a solid scene in a movie. There's so much potential in the active theme park and how it ties into the original vision John Hammond had, and I don't know, I still think a live action TV series or something could breathe new life back into the Isla Nublar stuff if they ever wanted to go there. Like, imagine Ford Explorer color-schemed green and red paint jobs on the gyrospheres and other old-school theming all throughout Jurassic World when it first opened up. Imagine if it looked identical to Jurassic Park in 1993 and they just like replaced the word park with world on the gates or something. That actually, I would love to see that movie. But hey guys, what do you think about the Fallen Kingdom concept art, the lagoon change, the weird stuff with the maps in the movie, and pretty much all of what I've mentioned here? Do you think it's as big of a deal as people have made it out to be? And what do you think they could do in the future to fix it? Maybe do a digital correction and just move the map back in the middle of the island with that one scene or something? Who knows? But hey, whatever your own thoughts and opinions happen to be on the subject matter, I'd love to hear all about them in the comments down below. Now, before I go, I want to thank everyone that's helped me build my channel over the years. I'd also like to thank every one of you guys who've watched my stuff. You've all been extremely cool to me. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and hope that you'll consider subscribing. God bless you all. Christ is King. See you guys in the next video, and as always, take it easy.